Okay, welcome to our February All Hands Skills Training. Today we are going to be talking about the United Nations and how the United Nations addresses the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and then how teens engage. I am going to put forward a vision here that we would like to have all the hubs participate in this coming year. Really in the next 6 months, we are putting together a teen-created documentary by teens for teens on the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the history, how they work, the progress, and the role of teenagers. It'll be a 30-minute documentary. And the audience are teens. And we have already gotten schools in Arlington, my community. The school system has agreed to show the documentary to all the history classes. And so our goal is to get this documentary into as many history classes and school classrooms as possible. It will be made by all of you virtually over the coming 5 months. Each of the hubs will have a segment and a role. And then there will be some of you, a small subset of teens that will actually go to New York in July as part of a delegation of teens from the CoLab to attend the high-level political forum. And there will be a professional filmmaker that we're going to bring in from India to help us with that. And Aditya, will help us with the creation of the documentary. But the goal is really to have as many teens create the documentary as possible. Ideally, for the time frame, we're going to start this month. We will be putting together an agenda for this, a schedule. Ideally, the documentary will be edited and created in August, and if at all possible, shown at the United Nations in September at the SDGs Summit. The documentary will be led by a teen council, and Haley is here, I think today. She is one of our teens that has filmmaking background that is on this council, and Carolina, who you've heard from. And we want to have our Quality Education Hub have a role in this. And of course, each of our hubs will be helping with a role. And then finally, I wanted to say that we'll be starting this month with the storyboard and outlining that. And so if any of you are feeling like you have skill sets that you want to, more than just in your hub, but you really want to apply your skill set to helping to lead this documentary, please get in touch with me separately. For the delegation to New York, we will be putting together a list of criteria for selecting that delegation. And we'll be in touch with you, but it will obviously have to do with your commitment to the hubs, your interest in learning about these topics, your availability, your ability to fundraise to get there, and a few other things that I think I'll get to in a minute that I've forgotten. Okay, so any questions on that or comments? That's the vision. We're fundraising madly. We've already put in 3 foundation proposals for this to help us get staff, because we're in a challenging financial situation at the CoLab now. So I'm an optimistic person, but that is something we're working on. Okay, for the skills training, I'm going to go through this list and we're going to put this in the chat. And I want you all to look at this as we go through it. Okay, so chat. Okay, here's some of the links. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and see if I can do this. So you all know the SDGs. Most people don't know about the SDGs. So you guys are ahead of the majority of adults and youth globally. But you may not know that each of these sustainable development goals that you work on, at the CoLab, we pick areas within the goals. So if you work on zero hunger, we focus on gardening and other areas. Good health and well-being, we focus on mental health. So I want you to know that each of these goals has sub-goals. and they call them targets, okay? Targets and indicators. So one of the things I want each of the hubs to do, and I want you to add this to your agendas, is I want you to go in as a group and look at this website and look at the sub-goals, the targets and indicators, because you will find, I hope, a sub-goal that is an area you're focusing on. Okay, so I'm looking right now at ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and promoting sustainable agriculture. And so gardening and creating gardens that help is, there's many targets here, Becca and Leah, for our Hunger Hub, but I want you to sort of go through this as a group and really get yourself familiar with these sub-targets this month. And then over here, you can see the progress. So what's interesting is the UN meets every year in the high-level political forum to review progress on the goals. And as you may know, the goals started in 2015, and they gave themselves 15 years to accomplish the goals, so 2030. So the first year they reported on the goals was 2016. So you can see this is the UN report on how the world's doing on these goals in 2016. And you can look at how it's changed in 2022. Okay, so it's really important to me that you familiarize yourself with your SDG, the targets, the indicators, and the progress. So moving on. Sorry, wrong one, just a second. So you know that I just mentioned the high-level political forum, and this forum is the annual meeting at the UN that meets to go over the Sustainable Development Goals. And every year they meet in July for 2 weeks, and I've taken teens in the past to these meetings twice. So I have some experience, and the CoLab has experience doing this, and I can talk about that later. We are taking teens the first week, July 10th to the 15th. Eventually they will have a program up. I don't think it's up. See, it says more information coming, but they will have an agenda and a program. But every year they review a subset of the goals. So this year, the goals that they'll be reviewing are Goal 6 on clean water and sanitation, Goal 7 on affordable clean energy, Goal 9 on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, Goal 11 on sustainable cities, and Goal 17 on partnership for the goals. As you know, the CoLab has 12 hubs. Our goal is to have 17 hubs, one for each of the SDGs. But I like to say that all of our hubs work on partnership for the goals. Particularly our Spanish hub, where they work on all of the goals. They're working together in a partnership in Spanish. Our Turkish hub, our Afghanistan hub, and our potentially new Africa hub, our arts hub. These are all cross-cutting. And of course, as you know from the hubs, your hubs all cross-cut with each other in many ways. So you're always partnering. So I believe that we will be engaging when we go mostly on partnership for the goals number 17. But you may have some other ideas for some of the other goals here. These are the countries that will be presenting their voluntary national reviews, how those countries are doing in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. So I don't think we have very many people from these countries here. Which is unfortunate, but doesn't mean that we won't be participating. I don't think we have anybody here from any of these countries, but the European Union is here. So that is okay. That's not a problem. But I wanted you to be familiar with this, to see the program, all the preparation that goes into this. There are many meetings that lead up to it. Okay, so again, I want you to go in your own free time and look at this website and familiarize yourself with this, because we are going to be having, as part of the documentary, an overview on the high-level political forum and how it works. I also wanted to say that we're a stakeholder. So the Major Group for Children and Youth is the group that we, the CoLab, have been working in for many years. Okay. So when we went before to the UN, we worked through the Major Group on Children and Youth. And here's their website, so you can go straight to their website. So we are working now to engage with this group. And then we are also working with the NGO Major Group over here and other groups. So these are some of the ways that we're plugging in. And then we also are finding ways to plug in directly, and you'll see the information is coming. So to attend the high-level political forum, we need to get credentials from the UN. And we can do this through the major groups. And we can also do it, I hope, through our embassies. So if we have a group coming from Mexico, I'm hoping maybe we can work through the Mexican embassy and the State Department. If we have a group coming from Turkey or other places, we can do the same. So we're in the process, Star and I, of working on credentials for that delegation. Okay, back to our list that I shared with you. I wanted to share very briefly this video. Oops.
And with sustainable development held under the auspices of the country.
This is actually a video of them talking at the partnership meeting recently, and I thought I would just share a section of this with you today. Hopefully.
Madam President of ECOSOC, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address the opening of the 2023 ECOSOC Partnership Forum. We are in a pivotal year for the 2030 Agenda. In September, heads of state and government will gather at the SDG Summit to reflect on where we stand at the halfway point of this ambitious agenda. The same week, they will also gather for a crucial Climate Ambition Summit, a high-level dialogue on financing for development, a ministerial meeting on the Summit of the Future, and a number of global health meetings. And throughout the year, leaders will also converge around the 5th United Nations Conference on Least Developed Countries. They will also converge on the UN Water Conference and the midterm review of the Sendai Framework and the Climate COP in the UAE. This provides us with a unique opportunity to make 2023 a turning point for people, planet, and peace. Your active engagement is fundamental to this effort. Important voices from around the world joining forces to mobilize a global rescue effort for our global goals. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 years into the SDGs, we are still far from where we need to be. On almost every key indicator, from poverty to exclusion, conflict to displacement, CO2 emissions to biodiversity loss, and the advancement of gender equality, we are moving in the wrong direction. And we are doing so at a time when global solidarity and trust are faltering, a time when developing countries are locked into debt spirals and out of SDG financing. In this environment, it would be easy to lose hope. But that is not who we are, and it is not what we do. Every day across the world, people rise above to achieve the most amazing things for themselves, for their families, and for their communities. Now is the time for the international community to do the same. Instead of giving up, we must wake up to this truly existential moment and to the opportunity that the energy, food, digital, and social transitions present us. We must rise up to this historic moment, and we need all hands on deck. Governments must lead the way, but we can only succeed if we work together with key partners showing leadership, ambition, and action. Let's start with youth. As activists, innovators, and consumers, young people must steer new, creative, and bold solutions to stubborn old challenges. Intergenerational leadership including through the UN's new Youth Office, will ensure young people are meaningfully engaged in decision-making at all levels. Second, local and regional governments. As first responders in crises, recovery and rebuilding, we've seen their vital role in front line of the pandemic, transforming education and accelerating green energy transitions. Now is the time for local authorities to move center stage in our SDG rescue effort. Third, the scientific community. Recent years have reminded us of the role of science. In 2023, we must strengthen our collaboration to ensure that future scientific breakthroughs benefit people and planet and reach everyone, everywhere. Lastly, of course, the private sector. We need long-term and socially responsible engagement by the private sector, from multinational corporations to small and medium-sized enterprises. All private sector entities should align their business models with the 10 principles and the new strategy issued by the United Nations Global Compact. Ladies and gentlemen, our world is facing a choice between breakdown and breakthrough. Let's choose the only path that will benefit us all. Let's unite in partnership to get the SDGs back on track, to secure a life of dignity and opportunity for all on a safe and healthy planet. I wish you the very best in today's discussions. Thank you.
I thank the
Okay. Okay, that was fantastic. So we're going to close in a few minutes, but I want to share a few more items with you. And again, there's a lot to share, but this is something I'd like you to watch in your free time. Not that you have a lot of free time, but let's see. There we go. Back to the UN High-Level Political Forum. If you watch this video right here, it's a long video, so we're just going to watch a snippet. Sorry.
This is a very important story. The important story. In the midst of COVID-19, it's an historic opportunity to look at the facts of the world as it is, and then to focus on the solutions to some of our greatest problems. In the 75 years since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
It's a myth that each and every one of us doesn't have the ability to change the world dramatically and quickly. There have been enormous shifts in power and behavior to the benefit of all humanity, and it can happen again.
Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." These are some of the things that must be done.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
Okay. I am going to stop there, but I really urge you to watch that. And I'm going to end on what teenagers are doing and can do. So we all know that you all, can you see my screen?
No, we can't.
Okay. Tell me if you can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the United Nations website, and here's Teen Stream. What you're doing today in meeting with us is partnering with the Global Collabs Teen Stream program, where we engage teens in virtual rooms And this is all up on the website, okay? We need to update this, but this is up on the website and it is where all of you come in, okay? So keep having a lot of folks come in and out, but you all are critical actors. And your work in the hubs, which you all know is here on our TeamStream website. And we're in the process of updating this, but each of the hubs has a page on our website. And we are working hard to bring more teens into these rooms to be change makers, working with teens that care passionately like you from all over the planet. And this is just an example of our climate hub and what they've been working on. So I am uplifted every single day when I come in and meet with you. And I am excited about our vision this year to not only have you continue to work in the hubs, but also to start collaborating more together in this documentary on the United Nations and the Sustainable Development Goals, and most importantly, what teens can do to be change makers, working collaboratively across the planet. And so each of you will have a role. And I'm going to stop right here with our training and ask if there are questions or comments. And I will stop the recording. And we can have an open discussion for about 4 minutes, and then we'll say goodbye and take a photo.